Good morning, everybody. Well, thanks for the comments and the feedback on the past few videos. I know some of them were perhaps a little challenging, kind of odd. I noticed too from on a few of them, at least from the amount of thumbs down that they gave me, I must have hit the nail on the head, because there's no way I could arouse that much animosity over my videos. No, unless I really must have stepped on somebody's prized feelings there. Yeah, well, we'll do it again, don't worry. Yeah, it'll happen. Can't please them all. No. Yeah, so, well, it's happened. Yeah. I installed the replacement television set, and so it was up yesterday. I bumped into a little bit of the news in the morning and went, turned it off. Yeah, but today I fell back into my usual pattern at 6:30 of turning on the local news and watching a couple of local stations here, and it was okay. Still, our news here isn't even what it used to be. There's still a lot of ugliness happening in the streets that we didn't see so much of years ago here, but it was pretty good. The Germans, oh my goodness, the German Navy set up office in Honolulu. They've become part of RIMPAC. They've decided that with North Korea and the Chinese rattling sabers over there, that they better get with the program too. So now we got the Germans with an office over here in gunboats. It's just a military installation. It's become a multinational military installation. Do I feel safer? The German Navy's here to sink the Bismarck? Oh boy. Yeah, right. We are different now. Right. Well, yeah, that was kind of interesting. Otherwise, a little bit of news. Finally, some hurricanes forming off the western coast of Mexico. Yeah, we finally have some activity. It's moving this way. We'll see. There's possibility of a second one maybe behind it too. So, the morning news, the weather with Guy Hagi, wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Well, and I cooked myself up some eggs and sat down, and oh boy, I let it roll into the national news. Curious what reaction I might have. The reaction was not good, and I dumped it quickly. Yeah, but not quite fast enough before I experienced the interview excerpts from the interview that Donald Trump had with the Black Journalists Association. Oh boy. Well, anybody who supports that man, you had best hope that the strain of all the trials, the lawsuits, the running for president, et cetera, that this is having an impact on the guy and he's breaking down. Whew, because, man, oh man. He got rolling when they asked him a question about Harris. I can't remember the exact question, but it ended up getting shaped into, well, first she says she's an Indian. Then she says, no, she's African American. Well, can she make her mind up which one she is? And this went on for quite a while, and they quizzed him on this, and he didn't give it up. And, well, when it comes to importance of a person's ethnicity, to begin with, none of you had any control over what your parents did. It's moot. You had no control. All right. And so when you're in situations where the person had no control whatsoever, it's just part of nature. Even concerning yourself with it is sheer stupidity. Yes, it is. It is something that I got over in the 3rd grade. So I found it incredibly pathetic. I went, oh, Trump, You have fallen that low. And really, that whether Kamala Harris is an Indian or an African American or what she is, really should only matter to this small percentage of angry white men, mostly, who feel disenfranchised. They don't feel they got their right cut in our society. Chances are they maybe never finished high school. Their educational levels are generally not very high. And so this stuff, this talk, I guess, will appeal to them. But I sure hope that that's a distinct minority in the United States of America today, and that most of us know better than that. You can't control your ethnicity, and it doesn't really matter. Now, it's possible that different ethnic groups have certain tendencies genetically that make them more applicable to certain situations on Earth than others. Yeah, that's, easiest. Without getting into any kind of racism, look at the Sherpas of the high Himalayas and the Incas of the high Andes. They all have almost double the capillaries in their hands and feet because they walk around barefoot in the snow. And their lung capacity, they're rather short people. Okay, they're smaller than the average human being, but their lung capacity is larger than the average human being. They got more alveoli, I don't remember how much percentage, but more than all the rest of us. So, 20,000 feet, they can breathe. We can't. We fall over dead. All right, so they're different. And the genetics mattered. All right, they did. They did matter. And so if I was trying to elect a president who was going to have to sit at 20,000 feet, man, I'd be going for a Sherpa any day. It'd matter. But in our society today, under the circumstances that our president would sit under, I don't hardly see how their ethnicity can matter. So the fact that he spent so much time worrying over it really troubles me. Really troubles me. This guy's running for president. That's an issue? As I said, I was probably in third grade when I had to learn, that this is not important. I grew up in the city of Chicago where, hey, ethnics matters. The Irish ran the darn city and the police department, and the Italians ran the mafia. It really, it was shoot 'em up between the two of them. Bagpipes on St. Patrick's Day through the middle of downtown, and they dye the river green and all this. Okay, and the Polish had their day and so on in Chicago. Yeah, ethnicity was a big deal there in my youth, and. Well, I had a problem with it. I wasn't Irish, okay, not Italian, not even Polish. My general ethnicity is fairly obvious, about 60% German Czech ethnicity, Central European, yeah, about 60%. And, I was born in 1951. Now, that was at the end of World War II. You didn't go walking around the streets in Chicago in the 1950s and start espousing the fact that you were German. What am I, stupid? That got me beat up more than once. Okay? Yeah, America hated Hitler and the Germans for a long time. It was somewhere in the 1960s before people began to heal from that. And, my grandparents were both Germans. I didn't talk about it. Yeah. I didn't celebrate it. It wasn't a good thing. All it did was bring up the worst part of everybody else around me. The unfounded hatred and ugliness, the racial divides that people carry around. Anytime I mentioned what my ethnicity might be in those days, that rose up. And it was sick. Grandpa was a World War I draft dodger. He had nothing to do with Hitler or the Nazis or war in Germany. When they started fighting at the beginning of the 20th century, he left. Yeah. Yeah. So this, none of this made any sense at all. Well, then, years later, National Geographic had a national genome thing where they would test your genetics and give you some results. Well, it was really comprehensive, and in true National Geo form, it was, represented with all these pictures and maps and circles and arrows of my ancestors and the times and periods, and it had the maternal line, the father's line, and so on. It was really comprehensive, and the thing that it drew up was, I'm 60% German Czech. The rest, I don't belong to any of them. Yeah, my the conclusion by National Genome is that my genetics matched less than 1% of the existing human race. Yeah, I got a couple of groups of ancestors that for some reason they either weren't on camel trade routes or they were very picky about their sexual partners. I have no idea. Maybe genetically low sperm counts or something. I really have no idea, but they didn't breed out. Yeah. My ancestors are almost completely dead in 40% of my genome. For 40% of my genome, I am one of the few people still representing that on this planet. And so it's kind of hard to feel, hey, I'm Irish, I'm Scotch, hey, I'm Polish. No, I'm part of an extinct group of people. I guess there's some, it's just, I always figured I was a little bit different, and I guess I was right. So here we have it. For me personally, ethnicity's interesting. It's fun to play with. It's nice. People use it for identities. Sadly, if that's the only identity you can find for yourself, I feel sorry for you. But, because you couldn't control what happened there. But it can be fun. The problem is, like any belief systems, man, it just gets carried away, and you get guys like here. And then they asked him about Vance, the guy he picked for a VP. And this guy has publicly espoused this 2025 thing where they want to turn the 20th century back. Get rid of the New Deal, SS, they want to get rid of Medicare, they want to get rid of the women's right to vote. Basically, Vance is a guy who advocates the idea that women belong in the kitchen. This is what he picked. That's what Trump picked, man. And of course, I guess that fits into the profile of the people he thinks he's appealing to. See, and well, we don't want to see this country turn into a theocracy. He had pop back and tell the Christians, you vote for me, you won't have to vote again. King Trump Supreme, representing God Almighty, I guess. Well, Vance looks like a real hot mess. And Trump avoided it completely just by sidestepping it, saying, the vice president doesn't count. You're electing me. And the vice president doesn't count. Well, tell you what, it all matters. And some of the tendencies and beliefs and things that I'm watching creep into our system, no. This is un-American. That's very much, yeah. Your ethnicity in this country is protected. It doesn't matter legally. Okay, it's protected. And so, for a man running for president, it should never be an issue. Women's right to vote, women's right to their body, were, all this stuff was protected at one point. Trump has managed, because of some of his appointments, to destroy some of what we brought forward. This is not the Old Testament, folks. And I'm not a Christian, okay? And I do not want to see a theocracy in this country. Never, ever. No, we got an experiment going here that, God, is one of the best things that ever come down on the face of this planet as far as the government is concerned. We can screw it up completely, or we can continue with it and see if we can evolve, but going backwards, to take everything back to the 19th century, the Old Testament, put the ladies back in the kitchen. Now, what's wrong with these guys? You have 50% or more of the United States population and the electorate, they're women. You ladies want to go back to the kitchen? Yeah, baby machines? That's what they're visualizing. What they need is more bodies for war. It don't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, you're engaging in war, but I swear these guys are encouraging, just like Nazi Germany, the production of more good Germans, more good Americans. We want the moms busy being baby machines for a war machine. It all fits together quite nicely if you look under the surface and try to figure out why they say these things. What's wrong with them? I mean, they could just be insane. That's possible. Anyway, at least I think the Trumpster is starting to crack. He could have sidestepped the question about Harris by saying, this is America, and it really is wonderful that we're able, in such a diverse nation, to have people like Kamala Harris be able to run for office. He could have said that. It wouldn't have hurt him politically. It would have, the journalists would have said, did he just say that? They'd quoted him on it. It probably would have been good news for him. I don't know. But whatever. It would have pushed the entire thing aside. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but I'll tell you what. It was pathetic. This man is running for president, and he's got the mind of a third grader. Wow. Well, Gracie's been here underneath the cam all morning long. How about your girl? Huh? Yeah, she's been sitting down here. Yeah, Bill's been steaming. Tell you what, I think it's about time I pet the cat. Isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah. Well, Gracie, if there ain't any other good reason why you're around here, you keep me calm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she's a good girl. What do you think? Want to edit? Yeah. Let's edit. Come on. All right. Well, should we check the cat food before we edit, Gracie? Let's see. Oh, well, you're right. It's half empty, isn't it? No, it'll be all right. You go right ahead.